Hey everybody, Appliance Guy Picker here, and decided to make this YouTube channel to originally help people with eBay stuff and show people kind of stuff that I sell on eBay. And then eventually I decided that I wanted to start making some appliance videos. So a little bit about me. I've been in business, the appliance repair business, full-time, working for myself for about a little over 2 years. Before that, I did an apprenticeship with a friend of mine who owns his own business, a trained professional appliance repair technician. Before that, I did a lot of different things. Full-time eBay seller, full-time Amazon seller, picker, reseller. I used to run a contracting business, used to run a landscaping business. So done a lot of things in my life. But junk removal, did that. But I wanted to make this video for people that are thinking about getting into the appliance repair business. The appliance repair business is an awesome business to be in. It's a high demand business. Lots of people out there needing appliance repair. Think about it this way. Everybody has at least 5 or 6 appliances in their house. And the newer they are, the more they're going to break. So, you know, it's in high demand. Lots of people needing your services. So, first thing you have to ask yourself, if you're thinking about getting into the appliance repair business, is the appliance repair business for you? And what I mean by that is, it's not for everybody. It's perfect for me because I'm a people person. You have to be a people person. We don't have to be, but in order to be successful and enjoy it, I think you have to be. I'm a people person. I love talking to people, love being around people. You have to be a person that's always willing to learn. So a person that's motivated to learn, not just to work hard, because that's key too. Got to work hard. Not every job's hard work. Some of it, you walk in and you're like, wow, I really got paid, you know, $150 for that. But then sometimes you bust your tail and it's hard work. So you can't be lazy. And so you got to have people skills. You can't be lazy. You got to be willing to continuously learn, constantly learning. Number 4, you have to be willing to immerse yourself in the appliance repair business. There's lots of, let me turn my air down, it's probably loud in the speaker. There's lots of good information out there, and there's a lot of good videos, training, online training, a lot of bad online training too. But you have to be willing to immerse yourself. You have to be willing to put the time in. And if you're thinking about starting your own business, you have to be willing to realize, and this is with any business, that you're not working a 9 to 5 anymore. After I do my 8 to 10 hour day, however many calls I run that day, I like to run anywhere from 6 to 8 calls a day. But once you run your however many calls a day, if you're a single man operation, you don't get to go home and kick back and drink beer and relax and have a good time, or just hang out. You get to go home or stop somewhere and make phone calls and schedule stuff and invoice stuff and order parts and all the stuff that goes along, and pre-trip for the next day. Look up model numbers and tech sheets and schematics and prepare yourself for the next day so you don't go out there looking stupid. So these are just some things to think about. Are you a lazy person? Are you not that motivated to begin with? If you are, then maybe you should just work for somebody else. Maybe you should just get a job to being an appliance repair technician for a company, where you can go in and do your, you know, calls during the day and that's it. But if you're motivated, you got a good work ethic. Sorry, I got a little bit of a sniffle going on. So, but if you're motivated, you got a good work ethic, you're willing to learn. See, just because you don't know anything doesn't mean that you can't learn. If you're willing to learn, you can learn, and there's plenty of information out there. So that's kind of what I would say a self-evaluation. Is appliance repair business for you? So number two, I got a little notes written down here. Number two, I want to talk about how to get started. One great way to get started is learning and the ins and outs of appliances is to sell used appliances. Now, my next video is going to be all about selling used appliances. I'm going to tell you every tip, trick, and secret I know, hopefully, in the next video. But if you're thinking about getting into the appliance repair business, a great way to get started and learn the ins and outs of appliances is to sell used appliances. And there's going to be another video all about that. But get your hands on some used appliances. Get your hands on some broken appliances. And I'll do a whole nother video on that. Another great way to get started, and when I say get started, I mean learning the trade. Another great way to get started is to ride along with a professional technician. Find someone in the trade. I was fortunate enough to have a friend that was in the trade, but find a business that'll hire you and let you ride along with another tech. Now, you may not get paid what you want to do this. You may have to find someone that, you know, you're not making hardly anything riding with them. That's what I did. I was making very little when I was doing my ride along. But I was hustling on the side, you know, making ends meet. So, but find someone you can ride along with. That is priceless. The information and knowledge you'll acquire riding along with a professional technician. So if you can do that, by all means, do that. Let's see here. So once you get a little knowledge under your belt, I highly recommend, once you have a little bit of knowledge, start slow. Don't jump into it. Don't go and quit your regular job or quit your job working with somebody else, working for an actual company to start your own business. Start slow. Start doing some side jobs. If you're working for an appliance repair company, make sure they know. Don't be that guy that's moonlighting, going out doing side jobs, but start off doing some little dryer jobs. Dryers are the most simple appliance to work on. So go out and do some dryer jobs, and do some washer jobs, and you know, maybe one in the morning, one in the afternoon, whatever. And mostly like for friends or people that you've sold appliances to or whatever. Just do some little jobs here and there. And just kind of get your I guess your toes wet, as they say. So do some little side jobs. That's what I used to do. And next, before you start your business, sit down and write out a business model, a business plan, something that's going to kind of go over what you want to do. What do you want to do? Do you want to work on high-end appliances? Do you want to work on you know, just regular everyday name brands, you know, your Whirlpools, your Maytags, your Frigidaires, your GEs? Do you want to be a single man operation forever? Do you want to maybe in the future hire techs? So kind of put together a business model, put together a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. Hey, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? So kind of put together a business model, and I'm going to do another video just on that as well, how to put together a business model. So next I want to talk to you about training. Everybody asks about training. There's a lot of good stuff out there for training. Probably the most recommended one that I can give you is the online course Master Samurai Tech. You can look up Master Samurai Tech, and he has online courses from the fundamentals of appliance repair, all through advanced schematic reading, refrigeration, all sorts of stuff. I have not taken the Master Samurai. I've done several of the samples. I'm actually going to enroll in the fundamentals course, even though I've already been in business for a while. You know, I've heard of techs that have been doing it for 20, 30 years, taking his fundamentals course and learning a lot from it. So shout out to the Samurai. There's also an annual appliance service training, ASTI. It does cost, but I hear that that's a good way to go out and get information on the new stuff coming out, network with new guys, stuff like that. I've never been. I'm thinking about going this year, but I've heard good things about it. YouTube videos. As I was talking earlier, if you're going to immerse yourself in this, you're going to be watching a lot of YouTube videos. You're going to be, especially when you're just starting off, learning how to disassemble things and learning how to do this and that, you're going to be coming home every night if you're immersing yourself in this and watching YouTube videos. So, definitely watch lots of YouTube videos. There's some really good stuff out there. RepairClinic.com, Appliance Parts Pros, ApplianceVideos.com. One of the newer ones that I've started watching lately, which would really have been beneficial when I first got started, is Parts Doctor. And this guy just goes through and shows you how to test different components and how to make sure they're within spec. So he'll teach you how to test thermistors, test bimetal thermostats, test heating elements, test, you know, the difference between continuity test and ohms test and voltage test. And he even has one where he shows you how to make a cheat wire, which is a very good thing to have. So yeah, lots of good videos online, some that aren't that good. I'm going to be putting some out that are just going to be me in the field doing my thing. But yeah, watch lots of YouTube videos. There's also hands-on courses where you can like pay and go somewhere for a week or 2 weeks and get hands-on training. I don't really recommend that. If you want to, that's great. But if there's all this free information online, why spend your hard-earned money on that stuff? You know, if that's what you want to do, I haven't heard the greatest reviews about them. Like, they got you working on like 20-year-old Whirlpool direct drives and old Maytags before Whirlpool took them over and stuff like that. And yeah, you're going to run across all that stuff, but you know what? You can learn all that stuff on YouTube, so don't pay somebody for free information. But if, hey, that's what you want to do, it's out there. And like I said earlier, another great training is getting used appliances and selling them. Hey, it's much better to take your time and learn how to tear something down in your driveway or in your garage or in your shed than it is in someone's house. And so that's another good option. Also you can get factory certified. All these different manufacturers, once you get started, you can go through and get factory certified with each company. I have not done any of that and don't really plan to, but they do offer training. The actual companies, so like Whirlpool, Electrolux, GE, LG, Samsung, those are the main brands I work on. But you can get factory certified, and they do different training things, and some of their training is just for the certified technicians, and some is open to the public. Frigidaire is actually doing one at Tribble's here in my part of town here soon, and I'm going to go to that. So that's a little bit on training. There's other options, and if you have any suggestions for training and you're watching this video, put them in the comments. Expectations, that's what I want to talk about next. What are the expectations? If you're getting into this business, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how much can I expect to make a year? What can I expect getting started? What can I expect, doing this as a career and as a full-time business owner? Well, I'll tell you roundabouts what I've gathered from my information. Your first year, you might do anywhere, if you do it right and you do it smart, you might make anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000. I know there's some YouTube guys out there saying you're going to make $65,000 to $85,000 your first year. If that's true, I didn't do it right, because my first year, I think I made roundabouts $40,000 or $50,000, which, you know, that's not bad. It's, you know, a good start. Second year, made a little more, but a goal or part of your business plan, I should say, should be to make that number grow every year. If that number's not growing every year, you're not doing something right. So part of my business plan is to make a minimum of $10,000 more each year. So every year I want to improve my business. I want to, at the end of the year, do a business assessment, look at what's working, look at what's not working, and then see what can I do to improve for the next year. And you can do quarterly assessments. You can do yearly assessments, however you want to do it. But that should all be part of your business plan. So yeah, your yearly income, first year out, 40, maybe a little less, maybe 35, I don't know. But then build on that, you know, start, you know, making improvements to your business. You have to, just like in life, sometimes we have to sit back and assess ourselves and do a self-evaluation. In business, you have to sit back and evaluate your business to see what's working. I do that, and I'm doing that, and I actually need to make a few changes to my business, so we'll talk about that. Daily income. When you first get started, you're not going to be running 6 or 8 calls a day. I highly suggest that when you first get started, you schedule 2 or 3 jobs a day. You know, maybe do depending on what time you get started, maybe do an 8 to 10, or an 8 to 11, a 12 to 3, and then a 3 to 6. That way you have plenty of time to go out there. The last thing you want to do as a new technician is go out there and, you know, just book 6 or 8 calls, and then you're not making your calls and you're running late, and, you know, you got people upset with you, calling you, and that's just not a good idea. So when you get started, start off with 2 or 3 calls a day. But a commonly asked question is, how much can I expect to make per call? I try to make at least a minimum of $125 per call. So if a call, and that's not including parts or anything like that. I do make money off parts, but I try to make anywhere from like $115 to $125 per call. Sometimes I make a little more, sometimes I make a little less, depending on the job. But you figure $115, $125 a call, 6 to 8 calls a day, you do the math. Good money, in my opinion. More money than I used to make. Yeah, so that's just a little, some guys make more. I'm probably not the cheapest guy in town, but I'm definitely not the most expensive. So yeah, anywhere around $115, $125. And like I said, it will fluctuate. So then you're going to ask me more than likely how to price your calls. And we'll do a whole thing on this. But there's basically 2 main systems people use when they go out. An hourly rate or a fixed price rate. I do a fixed price rate. That means I have a fixed price for changing a lid switch. I have a fixed price for doing a heating element job. I have a fixed price for just about everything I do. And that's how I do. That's part of my business plan. That's another part of your business plan. Is, you know, are you going to be an hourly rate or are you going to be a fixed price? I do fixed price. That way, there's no surprises. People know exactly what they're getting into. And, you know, the majority of the time, once you get a little experience under your belt, you're knocking these calls out pretty quickly. So if you're doing an hourly rate and you got there and you were there for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and the customer's like, well, why are you charging me $115? You're only here for 30 minutes. That should be under the service call. well, then you got some explaining to do. So what I do is I do a fixed price. So if a customer calls me and say, hey, you know, I think my heating element is bad in my dryer, I'll say, well, ma'am, my service call is $65. That includes diagnostics, and then I'll tell her that, you know, most heating element jobs range around $115 to $125 plus parts. But make sure you reassure her, or make sure you let her know that you're going to make sure that it's the heating element. Because just because if a dryer's not heating, everybody thinks it's the heating element. It's not always the heating element. It could be a number of other things. So don't be afraid to give people prices. It's always to go a little high than a little low, but you can always come down. It's the going up part they don't like. I'm pulling up to the supply house, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. So yeah, fixed price versus hourly rate, and we'll do a whole thing on that. I already touched on that, and we're gonna go over also the startup. I'm gonna do a whole video on startup, what tools you need, what parts you need, what your stock should look like, invoicing, things like that. We're also gonna talk about vehicles. You can use a lot of different vehicles. I'm working out of my wife's old minivan. Been doing it for two and a half years. Works great. I've seen guys on YouTube that work out of a Prius. I got a buddy here in my part of town that works out of a Subaru Outback. So lots of different vehicles would do. You don't need a fancy service truck to get started. But here's a quick rundown of what topics I'll be discussing. Pricing. I'll be talking about pricing. Licensing and insurance. What license you need. What insurance you need. What type of business you're going to be starting, an LLC, a sole proprietor, a partnership if you have a partner, things like that. How to get used appliances, that's going to be my next video, selling used appliances. Talk about what tools you need, what parts you need to stock on your truck. We'll be making some how-to videos. I've already posted a couple of real simple ones. I'm going to talk about scheduling service calls, so your customer service relationships and how to deal with customers over the phone and in person and all that. We're going to talk about home warranty versus manufacturer's warranty, the pros and cons of each. We're going to talk about customer service in general, how to treat your customers, how to make your customers love you, because that's super important. And amongst other things, I'll just ride around and something will pop into my head and I'll say, oh, that would make a good video. So I'm going to go over a lot of stuff. This is just a little introduction, but if you want to get into the appliance repair video, by all means, reach out to me. I'm very thankful for the business that I have, and I want to help other people, and there's a lot of good information out there. I'm just doing this to give back to the appliance repair community. So, and I don't know everything. I'm not the smartest guy on the block, just a good old boy. And hopefully I can share some knowledge, and you guys can share some knowledge with me, for those of you that have been in the game longer than I. So God bless you guys. Have a great day. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.